Today we're here to test the micro EDUTIGE. And there it is. It's beautiful. And this is an omnidirectional mic, which picks up 360. Ambience. TRS connector. It's a mini powerhouse. And we're going to test it in comparison with the Sony AX43, which I'm speaking on right now, which is an excellent microphone, but it has some downfalls. And the majority of this test will be outdoors, because that's where I do most of my videos. We got a nice breeze going, and I'm speaking directly in front of the camera. And I do believe that this camera is a unidirectional mic, because you can hear it on this side, and then it picks up on the right side. Then when you walk away, it's not too bad at 6 feet. It's feasible at 10 feet. Go beyond that, then you need a wireless hookup. And the reason I looked into omnidirectional is because when you walk around this camera, it sounds like I'm in a studio, but I'm outdoors. I don't want to sound like I'm in a studio if I'm outdoors. I want to hear the environment. The settings of the internal mic is turned all the way up, so I can compare it to this one, which I will be turning way down to about 1/4 of the strength. And now we'll plug in the environmental ambient EDUTIGE mic. I'm in the same position behind the camera. Light breeze. That's a pretty strong breeze, actually. Might be picking up some wind noise there. I'll walk around the camera. Now I'm directly in front of the camera. About 6 feet. 10 feet is about max. Then you need a wireless mic. Now let's go for a walk. Okay, dude, check this out. My son recently bought himself a nice truck, and now he got into the scrap metal business so he can pay off the loan. And recently I installed this hose holder, and this shed was looking really moldy, so I asked my son if he would pressure wash it for me, and he did a really nice job. But he pressure washed the light along with it, so it no longer works. So I'm not going to ask him to trim any of these trees. And then I got this pool over here, which the grandkids love, you know? And I asked them, I'm like, hey, you think you could vacuum that pool once in a while? And they just laugh at me. So that's about as far as that goes. I have a doghouse with no dog, but the kids really enjoy this area. And they come out here at night and turn the little lights on, get on their cell phones and giggle. And then they eat subs and leave all their stuff behind. And gives me something to do the next day. Get it back in shape. Alright, I'm back. Using the internal microphone on the camera, I have the record level all the way up. And as you heard, which I'm not going to try to pronounce this anymore, it's the ETM, which I'm going to nickname Little Ed, performed very well when you're behind the camera, directly in front of the camera, So the next test, I'm going to test little Ed at the same volume level. And it's going to be a little loud, but not annoying loud. It's like an ambient bomb. Saturated sound. You hear the car trailer? I'm using the external mic in the wind, turned all the way up. We're gonna go in circles. You hear that car going by? Now I'm behind the camera. I think it's obvious I've got little Ed plugged in at full volume. But that lawnmower you just heard sounded like it was right here in my backyard. In reality, it was at that White House. Which is pretty impressive. That is a pool pump. And what I've noticed is the more I speak, I will drown out the pump. Even though I'm in manual record mode, the ambience will slowly fade away. And maybe that's a feature of the camera and not the mic. But when I stop speaking, the pump should come back into play. Now there was a tractor that just went past, but the pool pump is closer, so it dominated, and you probably didn't hear it. This will also apply with just natural ambience. There's not a whole lot of birds and things, but it's breezy, and the more I speak, I will become the dominant one that the microphone picks up. And then I'll quit speaking, and you should hear trees, wind, and traffic in the distance. It has that effect like when you watch a sitcom. Sitcoms are pretty spontaneous, but then they'll have like a heartfelt moment and everybody gets quiet. And then you slowly hear the volume go way up and you hear the room sound. Familiar with that one? Okay, I'm back using the internal microphone. Set the audio record level to give some perspective. That's between 1 and 30. And the default for this camera is 25. The takeaway from the last clip was a nice saturated sound of wind and ambience. And that's because little Ed was influenced by full volume. It really wasn't that windy. And everything you've heard up to this point has been with the little wind muff. And even indoors, there's really no need to remove it, because the mic is so sensitive. And it might help with the p. There's a word for it. Kind of rhymes with Nancy's last name. Plosives. And like most microphones, they're susceptible to the hurricane effect. So if you want a nice natural sound of wind, pick a non-windy day and turn the microphone all the way up. Alright, I'm using little Ed, record level set to 10. Here we have a couple cameras I purchased back in 2012. I'm a real fan of the onboard mic. The ambience and dialogue are crisp. I've shot a lot of footage with this camera and never once had the thought or felt the need for an external mic. In fact, it doesn't even have a jack for that. However, they're not very good in windy conditions. In the next clip, you'll hear me behind the camera, walking away from the camera, people at different distances around the camera. I do believe this onboard mic is going to give little Ed and this internal mic a run for its money. All right, let's get a closer look. Oh my God, look at this. We got a stick, lot of algae. Wonder if there's any frogs swimming. I hear them late at night. So let's get this cover off. Oh look, I've got some unexpected help. That's always nice. Hey little girl!
What?
Would you like to help me fold that net up?
Oh, okay. I want to help you guys.
Okay, then pull back.
What are you guys doing?
There you go. Good job. Awesome.
Oh, now what?
All right, we're ready to remove this cover. What? A little girl in my picture.
Look at all the water bugs.
Green slime on top of the tarp went in the pool. What did
Yeah, all the stuff on the tarp went in the pool. I'm not swimming in that pool. So look, squeaky clean.
Get it hard. Somebody get you wet? Hey! What the? There's that froggy I was talking about. Oh my God, there's a couple of them.
This camera was sitting on the deck. The pool is 27 feet in diameter. She was a good 30 feet away, and her voice came across strong. So I'm going to set up this camera, the AX43 auto record level 25, on the deck and make a comment.
Look at all those water bugs.
Okay, now with little Ed. But I gave little Ed a boost since it's not a directional mic. Record level 15.
Look at all those water bugs.
Recap.
Look at all those water bugs. Look at all those water bugs.
Look at all the water bugs.
All right, tell me what you think. I felt the AX53 mic was the weakest. And little Ed and this mic were equivalent in volume. I thought this one had a bit more clarity, but then again it was a different person speaking. But when I'm behind this camera, or using little Ed, they sound pretty much alike. Little Ed has a little bit more bass. So to wrap up this review, little Ed is an excellent performer. In close proximity of the camera, it's like having a mini plug-in lavalier, which are very popular in interviews. Behind the shirt, clip-on, great for conferences, place the mic in the center of the table. Oh look, I've got a confession to make. I've been using the AX43. No biggie. The AX53 utilizes the exact same mic and specs. My beef is with Sony. In my opinion, this microphone is not compatible with this camera. However, the older model is. You speak here, here, and the audio does not change. So I'm going to write Sony a 5-page letter, and in response, they're going to send me a revised version. And it's going to have a switchable mic. First position, front mic. Second, both mics. Third, rear. The new revised version is going to knock the socks off the AX53 and the 43. And we'll have a new breed. Hybrid. And the reason they're going to do this is because they realize there's lots of folks that go out sightseeing amusement parks, and they are filming Johnny on the bumping cars, and they forget to plug little Ed in. And they get home, watch the video, they sound like they're underwater. And you've probably figured out by now I'm using the JVC camera, which has a similar mic setup as this one, except it's in the front. But with Omnial, doesn't make much difference. Another thing I'm considering is removing this mic and have it installed on this one. Look at the size of that little mic. You heard the performance of this camera. And look at the size of this one. Shame on you, Sony. And with that said, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Any questions, comments, leave down below. It's okay that they improved the audio from the front, but they didn't cover the rear. Sony missed a bass. Shame on you, Sony.